Good afternoon, everyone. In case you're joining us late today, I'm Larry Chang, BAS Center Director, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce our champion level sponsor for this event, Contemporary Controls. And today they will be guiding us through how we can use BAS controls for educational purposes. And our featured speaker is Harper Tapp-Farmer. He's Director of Product Management and Contemporary Controls. So with that, the stage is yours, my friend.
All right. Thank you for the introduction, Larry. And good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully, you had some nice sessions and, all of them are obviously very informative. So I'm hoping, you can learn a little bit from my side as well about our products. So we'll dive right in. So the presentation topic is Guide to BAS Controls for Education Use. So a little bit about contemporary controls. So we are a manufacturer of system building blocks for equipment which is used in building and industrial automation industries. Our products use BACnet. They are based on Ethernet, Modbus, and Sedona. All these are open technologies. And we are based in Downers Grove, which is a Chicago suburb, about 25 miles from Chicago. And we are coming up on our 50 years, have been in business since 1975. So our products give you control without restrictions. So what does that mean? So we are committed to open controls. Our line of HVAC controllers, which is the BAS automation line, it features BACnet. Again, it's an open protocol. We use Sedona, which is again an open source drag and drop component-based programming language. And we also give you a free software toolset called BAS Control Toolset, which can be used to configure the devices. You can test and emulate the controller operation, as well as make backup, all using a Windows PC. So these are the BAS Control 22-point unitary controllers. What are they used for? They can be used for any general purpose application. Those could be controlling your fan coil units. You can control heat pumps. You can also do lead lag pump sequence control, and you can also handle a constant volume air handler and also control rooftop units. These are rugged, low profile, housed in metal enclosures. They are again suitable for indoor or outdoor operation because they are wide temp, from operating from -40 degrees C to +75 C. And there are two basic versions of these controllers. The first one is called the BAS Control 22D. And this is a BACnet IP based controller. It features both a client and a server on the BACnet side. It has two Ethernet ports, so that gives you the ability to daisy chain them and make a network. Again, it features Sedona Open Control, outdoor temperature rated, and as far as the I/O control or the I/O points, it has 8 universal inputs. Again, they are configurable using the web page. It also has 4 binary inputs, and you can also do pulse counts and retentive inputs for energy metering and billing. You also have 4 analog outs and then 6 binary or relay outputs. On the second model, you go to a BAS Control 22S. That adds a BACnet MSTP port and 1 single Ethernet port. So this gives you both the ability to do a BACnet client server on the IP side and also the MSTP side. Again, it uses Sedona for its programming language for control, outdoor temp-rated, and the I/O input and output count is the same as a BAS Control 22D. So the main, feature that we offer, which is different than the industry from any other vendor, is free programming tools. And all of them are, you don't need any special licenses. The configuration for these controllers is done over a web page. It's a simple, intuitive web page, and they are freely programmable. And the 3 parts that make the BAS Control toolset are a BAS emulator application. You have a SAE or Sedona application editor, as well as a BAS backup. So the BAS emulator also emulates the operation of the controller on a Windows PC. So if you don't have a real controller, you can run a BAS emulator, and that will give you the ability to check the controller operation just on a Windows PC. The SAE is used to create a wiresheet application or make your function block application using Sedona. It's just a simple drag and drop block programming, and very intuitive and easy to learn. And the BAS backup gives you the ability to save these applications and also save all the IP settings and the other configuration you have done on the controller and save it on your PC. So if you have multiple PCs or multiple controllers that you want to, use the same application, it's very easy to use. And then all this is available to download from our website for free at ccontrols.com/toolset. So a little bit more on the BAS emulator. So this is your chance to try before you buy. So you can check how the controller operates. You can check all the tools, how the programming operates, how the Sedona application works, how SAE works without even buying anything. So once you download the BAS control toolset, you can run the BAS emulator. And like I mentioned in the previous slide, it emulates or, pretends to be the controller on your PC. So once that application is running, you can look at the emulated web page. You can change the IO channel types. So like I mentioned, you have 8 universal inputs. So on those universal inputs, you can change the controller or the channel type. You can also configure the backnet settings. You can change the network IP address. You can set the time, and also look at all the other web page configurations. All these settings are, again, can be saved to the PC, and the next time you launch the emulator, those settings are stored and you can see the same settings again. So moving on to the other part we offer is free pre-built applications. So as part of these pre-built applications, you can get a constant volume air handler application, a fan coil for 2-pipe or 4-pipe fan coil, and also a constant volume heat pump. So these are, again, pre-built applications. They are configurable. You can download them, and there's a full set of documentation available. Once you have these applications, you can run it on an emulator using the BAS control toolset. You can modify the control sequences and look at the underlying code, and you have the full ability to modify them according to your needs. So this, so starting from BACnet to simple IP settings to, a full application, you have the ability to, set up your lab from, 100 to the full, 500 level course here. And then again, once you have these applications, you can make a backup once you're done changing using the BAS control toolset and the BAS backup. All these are available again from our website, ccontrols.com/apps, for free. And then what do you get as part of these pre-built applications? So each application for a specific need is available as a zip file. So that zip file gives you all the documentation, it gives you the schematics, it gives you all the application files needed to implement that specific project. The application notes, they contain a Word document. It has a little detail about the application and notes on configuring the points. As a system schematic, you also get a H diagram. It documents the airflow and the location of the sensors, and if you have any actuators, all that is provided to you. It also gives you a point list that is used in that application. Those points could be real points or just any virtual points, which are used for any intermediate point handling. You also get the BACnet names and points and properties available. And this is, again, an easy Excel file available that you can modify. You also get the sequence of operation. This gives you references to all the BACnet tags and the Sedona tags in a Word document. And you also get a wiring diagram as part of that. It gives you the location of the sensors, the actuators, and all the other information to make your control panel or just, set up your lab. And it's a PDF file. So let's look at a example for a classroom setup. So in this, we are showing this is your BAS automation lab with multiple BACnet controllers. We are showing a 22D. So each controller here has a separate IP address. A student can log in using one Ethernet port, and then they can, make their application. They can configure the devices. All these are again connected together using an Ethernet switch. And then this gives the ability to the instructor to access each and every controller and be able to help the students for their um, any application or configuration they need and check their work. We also provide the next layer, which is a graphical supervisor or a head end. So just, looking at the base layer, you have the controllers, but all that needs to be brought together in a single pane of glass to look at what those settings are, how to control those devices. So we have a simple, intuitive HTML5 based graphical supervisor. Again, no licenses. Special licenses required. You can configure it all through a simple web browser, and it gives you supervisory features and functions such as alarming, trending. You can do schedules. You can also use Gmail to set up email alerts and notifications. And you also get a BACnet IP client functionality in that, and also supports Modbus TCP with this. So moving on, you also may need to have the ability to interconnect BACnet MSTP and IP devices. So even though people are moving towards BACnet IP networks, BACnet MSTP is still very prevalent in the industry. So it is imperative the students know about BACnet IP and MSTP, and they may need to connect those two networks together. So we do have BACnet routers to connect BACnet IP and MSTP, and it gives another option for students to learn what's common in the industry and in the building automation networks. There are different versions available for BACnet routers. So we have DIN rail mounted versions for fixed installations. The other version is a USB powered portable unit. So for people who are just doing site installs and commissioning, you can just power it using your laptop, and a simple web browser can be used to look at the settings. So no special different power supply is required. So that's a easy use case for a USB powered device. So moving on to the next piece of the puzzle, like we looked in the classroom example, you have all the devices, they need to be connected together. So you do need some Ethernet switches. So we have, a range of devices from 5-port, 8-port to a 16-port device. So all these are simple unmanaged switches. You can connect them together. There's no configuration required. So simple plug and play units, and which is very easy and ideal for building a building automation lab. And the other option that is that we have seen other classrooms do is, bring in another Wi-Fi router. So once you plug in a Wi-Fi router, connected to the LAN port, then people and the students don't even have to connect your Ethernet cable. So that provides a Wi-Fi access to all the controllers and, the BAS view. So let's go back to the classroom example here. So if I were to plug a Wi-Fi router here, so then the students don't even need to, connect to individual controllers here. They could all be on the Wi-Fi network and access the devices. So moving on to the other next piece, which is the higher level layer on the Ethernet side, you go to the IP network layer, right? So Ethernet devices or Ethernet switches just connect the devices together, but then you also need to assign IP addresses, right? So either you can go to the IT network and say, I need to assign IP addresses, or you can set up your own IT network in the lab. So you can use an IP router, which is a device to, keep the traffic separated from the IT network or your campus network, and you can set up DHCP server, which is built in into that. And then it gives the instructor the full ability to control their and administer the classroom and the lab setting. The other piece which we offer for education is called Industrial Ethernet University, or IEU. So this is another of the free resources available on our website. It teaches you about Ethernet. You learn about physical layer. You learn about data link layers, and then from the basic network layer all the way up to transport and application layer. And this is based on the standard IEEE material. And we do not, it's a very open and open resource, and it has all the information based on the IEEE 802.3 standard. It talks about, wireless networks. It talks about cellular devices, and it's available again at ccontrols.com/IEU. We also work with, a few colleges and universities. So there are a few success stories if you want to look at, how other colleges have already implemented, their BAS automation labs and their curriculum based on our devices. So there are a few success stories. And then in the resources tab, if you look at that, you have a PDF of this presentation. You can download it. And then if you want to, look at these resources later, you are more than welcome to do that. And then just to reiterate our commitment to education and training initiatives, we have been working with BEST Center since 2019. If you're trying to set up a lab, yeah, we do offer educational discounts, on all the devices, on our switches, on our controllers. And then obviously all the programming software is free, right? There are no special licenses. So it's not like you set up a lab today and then 2 years later, the license is going to expire. So everything's going to keep working. And then there are additional resources besides, Ethernet and BACnet. If you go to our learning center at ccontrols.com/LC, you can learn about Modbus. There's more information about EIA 485 networks. So, you have Modbus and BACnet MSTP, which use this 480 RS485 wiring. So there are special bias and termination requirements. So if you want to learn about that, that's also available on our Learning Center. The other resource, which is a compilation of all our articles, or most of the articles we have done, is this Network Communication for Buildings. It's a PDF, probably 150-page PDF that you can download. And again, it has, a compilation of all these resources. We also have video resources about BACnet, introduction to BACnet, and how other devices, BBMDs work, and you can go more into detail on the BACnet aspects as well. So with that, that brings it to the end of the presentation. I will be in the booth for our contemporary controls booth from after the end of these expo hall. So that's at 2 p.m. Pacific time till 3 p.m. So if you have more questions, I'll be available for another hour in that, and if you can either email me with this information that's on the slide, or you can, come and hang up at the booth over there. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Kim will send out a link to the booth for those of you who would like to join HarperTap there afterwards. And thank you so much for giving us that overview of all of the resources available through your company. Yeah, I knew there was this big anniversary coming up, but I didn't realize it's the 50th. So
yeah, it's the big one. Yep.
kudos to the big one of the big ones. Now, we have a couple of questions, two from Alice. And she asked first, right, will the contemporary controls products work with automated demand response where they have it installed with a grid link system? So we'll start with that.
Well, we do not offer the supervisory control, but since it is BACnet, right, someone can send a message to us and, do the control on the IO side, right? So we don't have the ADR protocol built in or something, but, if someone has a head-end like Tridium or whatever, right, a Jace, if they support it and then, yeah, they want to, send us messages and control us over BACnet, yeah, then we abide by that, yeah. But we don't have those protocols built in into our devices directly.
And her second question is there a phone app that the maintenance staff could use to be able to check the systems?
Well, these are all HTML5 based, yeah. So you can look at that. The supervisor we showed, BAS View 3, that's also, HTML5 based. So that's responsive. So you can look at that on a tablet or on a phone. So the web pages are, uh, mobile friendly.
All right. And gotta love Bob Clark. He's asking, why is Larry Chang so awesome? Well, thank you, Bob. You should also be asking why contemporary controls is so awesome. I will say, yeah, I think that the BAS emulator is probably one of the most useful tools that you all provide at no cost. I mean, it's just such a great way to practice programming in a safe environment. And
Correct.
and also we have used the Bass View 3 at some of our workshops. And since we will be conducting another BAS workshop this coming June, Harper Tap, do you have some thoughts? I know we need to coordinate deeper on this, but do you have some thoughts about maybe one or two other kind of the newer products or other products you think that our faculty could benefit from?
Yeah, so the other thing, that I would want to bring up is BACnet SC, right? So with BACnet, it's like open standard, right? It's UDP based. And then a lot of the IT guys, they don't like, broadcast messages. So BACnet has come up with BACnet Secure Connect or BACnet SC. And then, that's another router we will be releasing soon, which will, interconnect BACnet SC and BACnet IP and BACnet MSTP networks. So as part of that, people need to understand how it operates, right? It also relies on the same IT principles as, using keys and certificates. So, the IT departments are well versed in that, when they set up a VPN or you go to a website, you look at a SSL certificate. So the building automation guys also need to learn that terminology, right? Right now we go to the IT department and say, okay, I need an IP address, right? So that's not going to be enough when you come up with a BACnet SC device. So you will also have to go and say, okay, I need to commission this device. And as part of that, someone will have to give them a security certificate and a key. So, it's imperative that the technicians be knowledgeable and be able to talk to the IT department on these, upcoming technologies that add security, right? So before it was the BMS network was totally separate, right? No one, and if it's a large building, people are not going to run, extra cables. Yeah, there are VLANs and other options, but, people want a single IT infrastructure. They want to be able to, see these devices, manage these devices. So I think that's a big one that's going to come up. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Yes, cybersecurity has to be part of the daily diet.
Correct. Yep.
And we'll close out with this final question. Someone would like to know where they can or how they can purchase your hardware and products.
Well, they can send us an email. They can go to our website, so all the products are available. But if you're, trying to set up a lab, like I mentioned, you have educational discounts. So you can send an email to sales@ccontrols.com, and then, we can set up the college as part of our educational customer, and then, yeah, we can, send them a price list and stuff, or they can send me an email. And then if they happen to go to HVAC Excellence, that's another of the shows we will be, attending in March. So we have been doing that for a few years now. So that's another option to, talk to one of our guys at the show.
Right, right. And you are all based in the Chicagoland area,
Mhm.
right there with our friends at College of DuPage, as Bob wanted to kind of nudge me about. So there you go. All right. Thank you so much,
All right.
everyone.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
everyone, for attending.